There
Your
it is.
ship gets underway, pulling away from its mooring at the shipwreck inn, and within an hour, you are cruising northward again through the open sea. And the night passes without incident. In the morning, you awake, and by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you see an island. And it is that, if you look at the map there, from the little dot where the shipwreck inn is, it's the island just to the north of it.
Ooh.
Which is technically part of the Misty Isles, but as you go around, you head to this island, and it's substantial size, but it looks to be uninhabited. You don't see any structures or signs of civilization. You sail within a mile or so of it. You see one side of it kind of rises up in a rocky bluff cliff, and from the other, topped with trees, and slowly, steadily slopes down to a gentle beach on the other side, upon which you witness two large crabs going at it.
Fighting,
I mean fighting. I don't know. I meant they're fighting, like the kinds of crabs that you
Sure you did.
fought.
Thanks for clarifying.
They're engaged in combat. I can. Oh, there you go.
They're engaged in
Coitus.
combat.
Yeah.
Just going at it.
Anyway.
So that's all you see on this island. Doesn't really look to be anything much, even though it's pretty big.
Hey, Clara. I want to find Clara.
Yeah, you find Clara with little trouble. She says, "Yeah."
What's the name of this island? Does it have a name?
So she says, "Let me look up
It's
the
Danger
charts.
Doom Island.
Let me look up my charts. Celia is what
Celia.
it's called,
Well, that's boring.
That's silly.
and I don't have any notes on it. I don't know. Doesn't look like much to me. Whatever. I don't know. Don't know why no one's built on it. Perhaps there's horrifically dangerous monsters on it who will kill you and eat your skulls.
Perhaps.
Those crabs are
Like
very
those
dangerous.
crabs, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
we've
those
had
crabs,
one
yeah.
line.
That's maybe it's infested with them, overrun with it. And at one point there were elves all over, and then one day the crabs decided to rise up against their elven overlords, and then they killed them and then ate all their skulls.
You do have a very active imagination.
It could be true. You don't know that it's not true. You didn't see it not happen.
That's very true.
That's right.
Okay,
At
then.
any rate, we should be to the actual inhabited part of the Misty Isles within a day.
Wonderful. Can you tell me much about the Misty Isles?
Yeah, they're a bit of an odd folk over there. They live. There's three main islands, and from what I know of the elves that live there, they live in the well. What I know of them is that they were made up of a collection of refugees who fled after the War of the Breaking, and they rejected after that. They rejected notions of monarchy and feudalism, and so I think now they live in some sort of communes,
Interesting.
from what I've heard. And I believe that their society functions with no money. I don't know really how that's possible, all the logistics of it.
Now I'm
But
disappointed.
they're strange folk, and their society's weird.
I guess it'll be an education either way.
Are we planning on stopping there, or are we just going to sail on through?
Who knows? I guess we'll see what happens.
Dunno.
There's a reason to stop.
She says, "Dunno. Maybe there's giant crabs there too that ate all of them. Maybe it's a revolution."
Oh, yes. Also Cilia, but part of the Misty Isles. Are we planning on making a stop in the Misty Isles?
Not that I know of. I don't see reason to, unless we need to resupply, which I don't think that we do need to, but we can ask Rayad if he would know if we needed some resupply. But that's not a planned stop. Graziella didn't mention it to me.
Okay.
Right then.
We'll sail by them. I'm sure we'll see the coast.
See them eventually.
I wonder if they really are misty. Must be called that for a reason.
Yeah, I
Dunno.
was about to say. They have to have had their name somehow.
Maybe it's a line from a song.
Probably the
knows?
refugees just saw mist and then were like, look at those islands. There's lots of mist. And maybe it was just like a misty day. Maybe they're not misty at all, really. Like all the time. Maybe it was just a misty day and they were like, let's call it the Misty Isles, like on a whim. And then the rest of the days were kind of clear and they were like, well, it's too late now, isn't it?
That is very possible. I once heard a
Dunno.
song by a band back home. The song was Misty Mountain Hop. It was a very pleasant song.
Oh, I Misty Mountain Hop.
Can you
Perhaps
sing
they
it for
saw
us?
No.
perhaps they saw a mountain that was misty for just a day. And then they named a song after it. Then the next day it was clear and they were like, well, it's late now, isn't it?
They were probably also on lots of drugs.
Oh, that's quite possible. Maybe the refugees found some drugs too. You continue to travel, and it dawns. The next day dawns the 22nd. The 22nd of Leaf Turn. It is Asher's Day, the 22nd of Leaf Turn, and in the morning, without fail, you reach that island, the most southerly of the Misty Isles. And you pass close to a part of the coast of it where sort of a crescent reaches out from the greater landmass. And upon it, on a rocky rise not far from shore, you see a tower, maybe 50 feet high, and you're close by enough, the shore, just kind of cruising by, to see several wagons parked nearby. There's a group of humanoids. You can't quite tell what they are from this distance, but they're carrying some what looks to be building materials from the wagons to the tower. There's some large bull-like creatures pulling heavy-looking sleds and wagons of more material. And as you get slightly closer, cruising on by, at the top of the tower, you see a couple of figures. And at this distance, you can see they're tall, slender folk, elves. And they wave to you as you pass. And you see they blow you kisses. And you hear something. You hear strong voices carrying out over the waves. And they're shouting, Ithalion, Ithalion. Do any of you speak Elvish?
I do.
I did before you took Sylvian away from me. But I don't think he actually. Sylvan.
You, Worth, speaking Elvish, you recognize Ithalion means blessed voyage. They're wishing you well.
That's nice.
I yell whatever the appropriate response is back to them.
Ithalionara.
Ah.
Say
Italianata.
it. There you go.
And you see at this,
And I also wave back.
several more crew members, along with Vissa and Brecken, run up to the side of the ship, and Brecken and Vissa begin to also yell this phrase back at them. And
They're
begin
half
to
elves
blow
too,
kisses.
right? Or are they
They're
full
all
elven?
full elves.
They are full-blood elves.
I mean Brecken and Vissa. Yeah.
They are full-blood elves. Yep.
Okay, cool.
And this passes. You can you don't make any. If you don't make any moves to stop or anything, you just have this pleasant little interaction with some elves of the Misty Isles doing their looks like construction labor.
Eat.
They are nice to greet us. Yeah.
Yep.
So you cruise on. 3 more days pass. You've reached. It is Threnday, the 26th of Leaf Turn. At this point, you are working your way up through the Misty Isles, and you've reached the coast of that northernmost island of
The
those
one,
three. The one where there's a town marked as Nisengrove.
the biggest one.
The biggest one of those three. The only one where there's the X town that says Nisengrove on it. So you're passing by the coast. You're about halfway up it on the 26th of leaf turn. And today, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you see floating alongside of the boat you see a barrel. It just kind of bobs in the waves alongside the boat. You guys doing it? What are you guys doing?
Who do I see on deck? Is Valdemar there?
You see Valdemar. He's leaning up against one of his ballista and actually polishing a bolt.
Valdemar,
Yeah.
there's a barrel floating by us.
Oh, a barrel.
Yeah,
Oh, we shall cast a net. Why not?
yeah. See what's in it.
Let's do it. So Valdemar gets a net.
We've done this before. This is familiar to me.
It's
Hopefully it'll
on.
be as good as last time.
Do you remember what you found last time?
Yeah, it was bottles of wine, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever open them?
I haven't done anything with them yet. I'm going to say I put them in my bunk.
The crew.
I was going to share them with the crew at some point, but I forgot.
Yeah, let's cast up the net. I mean, occasionally you find things in the water, see.
Yeah.
And Valdemar, with his great strength, snares it and pulls it up. And it's about 3 feet long and half as wide. This kind of is just this barrel. And there's a few holes in it through which there's a few holes in the barrel.
Well, pry it open, Worth.
Yeah, do we have anything to pry it with? We have a crowbar? Actually, I think I have a crowbar. But...
We have done this exact same exchange before.
Yeah,
Yep.
You've got a crowbar.
Okay, so I pry at it and try to open the top.
The top pops off, and like 100 tiny little crabs skitter out onto the deck, all over the deck.
Jeez, what do we do? What do we do?
One of us says, "Get them! Everybody, get the crabs! Was all over the deck! Was!"
I start kicking crabs off.
I want to try to. So is the barrel upright? Or...
No, it's on its side, and the crabs just poured out of it, and are just
turn it
all
right
over
side up.
You can, give me a strength check.
Great.
Miserable.
I love giving him strength checks because he's like,
I'm surprised it's taken you this long to realize how bad I am at the
baby arms.
Oh, I got a 13.
You lift it upright successfully, and there's like 10 crabs left in the bottom of it. So like 70 crabs or so are just skittering all over the deck of your ship.
I want to
Not
try
70.
to...
I've been kicking them.
Yeah, you give me an athletics check.
Make the shed a D20. 5. Oh, miserable.
Yeah.
You make an effort, and you kick like one or two off of the ship, and then just stumble around amongst all the crabs.
What do we do about all these crabs?
I'm gonna
I don't know.
them off.
Everybody! And Drasana starts freaking out as well and orders the sailors after this barrel of crabs. And they, a couple of the crabs start to jump at your legs and feet.
Ah!
And one of them, you see one jumps up and like snaps its pinchers closed at you, Wareth. Does an 11 hit?
No.
He makes a lunge at your legs, but you duck out of the way of it.
Whatever. I have skinny, sexy ankles.
One of them actually has gotten on top of the barrel and launches itself at Bew. Does a 2-hit.
Deflect missile. Oh wait, no, it doesn't.
Bew ducks out of the way easily of this crab. And can, everybody go ahead and make athletics checks. Just to see how this goes.
Oh, it's the exact same. Goodbye. You go into the dice jail.
Oh, nice chill.
12.
And I got a 14.
You both you get like one more crab, like you like scoop it up and throw it off into the ocean, and each of you.
I want to try to pick them up and put them back in the barrel because I want to eat them.
With that roll, you are able to somehow scramble about and get an armful of crabs, and before even getting bit, you just scrabble them all into the barrel. And of course, crabs in a bucket, they can't get back out.
Yeah.
And around the deck, you see the other crew members beginning to toss some off. And however, there's still a few more around you. One lunges at your crinkles. Mirwin does a 18 hit.
Yes.
You get clamp. You get crab claws right in the leg.
Ah!
You take two piercing damage.
Ah!
It's it takes a minute more for right about this time that you see Cora the owl just having a field day with these things, taking them and dropping them. The owl actually is mostly dropping them into the ocean as if it has been commanded to almost.
Impressive.
And it gets many
Most
of them off of
impressive.
them. It tosses many of them off into the
So much better.
into the sea. And everybody make one more athletics check.
There's my spot, Ian.
This is way better than the
He is in your spot.
bench.
17.
9.
9.
9.
You succeed in clearing almost all of the rest of the crabs off of the deck, or getting them into the bucket, depending on what you were trying to do.
Kicking them.
I want to get a few more in the bucket.
He was
'cause
like, kick.
I want to get a few more into the bucket so I can
Like
give them
skipping
to Dwarf Cook Man and see.
Ah, very nice.
But
you do get
We're a superhero.
anything else, I just want to get rid of them.
you like do a roll and get like 2 crabs and snatch another one and like basketball them into the barrel.
Nice.
So you got a good like 12 crabs in that thing. Yeah. And you get most of the crabs off of the deck. Not all of them. Some of them by this time have made their way into the below decks and will no doubt scourge the crew for several days. So that's what you found in the barrel.
Nice.
Thanks.
I want to carry it into.
Thanks, D100. So you take the barrel and haul it over to where Eckerd is. You see him also having like he's like taken out a frying pan and was like whamp 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 on these things, and apparently not actually thinking about cooking them, just wanted to smoosh them and get them off of his deck. And he's got like several smooshed crabs all around his feet.
Their like pneumatic guts have just spilled out.
Eckerd.
We just got the goblin blood cleaned off of this a week ago. Bloody crabs! Who brought these on board? Where did they come from?
Oh, we pulled a barrel. Well, Voldemort pulled a barrel out of the ocean, and they came spilling out.
He'll hear it from me, oh, Voldemort. Not the first time. He loves pulling things out of that bloody ocean. Anyways, what's this?
Well, this is the barrel they were in. I don't know if they were worth eating or not. Picking them up and eating them. Now that they're contained and not snapping out our britches.
Maybe in the cook and all. I should have thought of that. But I don't like creepy crawlies so much. So
The
in the
defense of the
moment,
ship comes first. I get
in
that.
the moment, I got my biggest pot, and I didn't think of eating them, just smashing. And as you see, I was quite successful.
That you were.
But thank you. I
Yeah.
can see their value in their application now. However, I don't like touching them, so I'm gonna need you
Okay.
I'm gonna need you to pick them up and put them in the pot for me. Does that work for you?
I guess I've got myself into this, so
Okay, let's cook some dinner then, because what
There we go.
what I had planned, that can wait now. This is fresh, and I don't want them hanging about my ship very long alive. So come back with me. He takes you into the kitchens area, and it's a pretty small kitchen, but he has a fire, and over it he's got a big pot, and he fills it with it's already he fills it with water. He's got some fresh casks of fresh water, and he fills this pot, and before long it's boiling, and he says, "Bring the thing over here.
okay.
Now go ahead, one by one, just plop them in. I know how to cook them. I don't like touching them."
I know how you feel. Okay, here we go.
Just put them in there, boil alive, and I can take it from there. So you pop 12 crabs into this boiling pot, and they make that pee sound that they do as they die in the boiling water.
Death to crabs.
Excellent.
And
Exactly.
I start to tell Eckert how I once was attacked right before we met them. Well, actually, while we were on our island, how we were attacked by a giant crab.
Yeah, looking at my notes, this
Oh,
is
that
the
is
third
horrific.
time that we have encountered these crabs. I'm assuming that these are the big bad. I think crabs are the big bad.
Mm. It was huge. It was up to my waist. Massive.
Oh,
Both Bew and myself to put it out of our misery.
that'd be nearly up to me head. Oh, what? It would just devour me. That's horrible.
Yeah.
I hate even knowing that exists. I hate it.
Well, now we're taking our revenge on them.
That's right. Oh, I'm gonna cook these bastards up. Everyone can have some tonight. Wonder if I've
Fun
got.
time. It is fun time.
I think I've got butter. I've got butter in my stocks somewhere. Well, I will eat them with butter.
Nice.
It gets about evening time, and he whomps this big pot and says, "All right, come ye all. We're gonna eat those bastards who attacked our ship today, mercilessly, who mercilessly assaulted and invaded us. Now we shall take our revenge upon them, best served with butter." And he does
I've
have
always
butter.
heard best served cold, but best served with butter.
Revenge, best served with butter. So the feast for the night is lovely. The days continue to pass, mostly peacefully. You reach the last day of the month. It is now the 30th, Thursday the 30th of Leaf Turn, and you all kind of take a minute to realize that this is exactly 1 month since you joined the guild, and all that has happened since then.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we've had an eventful month.
Yeah, just a singular month. No, it's been nice knowing you, Worth, for this long. I feel like we have grown closer as enemies.
Absolutely. Frenemies, maybe even coming to become frenemies. One day.
You might hold off on that. That is getting a little bit too nice, even for you.
What can I say? Life from the sea can drive you mad.
Yeah, you need to back it up. Maybe have an ale today, yeah?
Hmm.
That crab a
Maybe
couple
a
days
hug,
ago
too,
is
we'll
finally
see.
coming through.
We need to get you to try that.
I don't look like a landlubber to you, do I?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, you look like a landlubber, Wareth.
You guys are sitting around the table, and Brecken comes and joins you guys.
Hail,
And
Brecken.
Hail. How are you fine folk this evening?
We're doing just fine.
Great.
Just
Yep, I'm
enjoying
good.
it all.
How are you?
Weary.
Yeah.
Weary of sailing, but we've got a good ways to go.
I understand the feeling, yeah. It is, we are not at the halfway point yet, I don't think.
No, definitely not.
We
Wow.
actually might be.
Must be close to it. My days are filled with uncertainty, though. Thinking about this island, where we're going, and what sort of lore masters they may have there, and whether we're going to find anything close to what we're looking for, or are we going to have to turn straight back around and waste another month while our enemies could be out there just
Hmm.
waiting.
I mean, yeah, that is all that
Sure.
they are doing. Certainly, the life of adventure is uncertain, and I personally find solace in that. I know that that might not be much for you, but me personally, I quite enjoy the uncertainty of it all. Reckon.
I wish that I could say the same thing, but I am glad that you can, and I'm happy that you're fulfilling your grand desires for adventure.
Oh yeah, I am having a great time. But I understand if you're anxious, this might all be what's the word I want to use? Pulling teeth. This might be difficult if you are anxious about where we are going or if what we'll find there is what we're looking. It'll all work out, Brecken, you know?
I take it
It'll
day
work
by
out.
day, but the bright side of it is, have you seen Vissa lately? She's been happier.
Yeah, she has. She has been less worried, which is good. She seems to be not stressing about it all, which might be, at the very least, we can say that this is a nice vacation for her. This
Brought
for
some
us
stability
That's
back
a
is,
as
good way
well.
to think of it.
yeah, she's got people surrounding her that will keep her safe and a place to be, a place to belong, friends to spend time with. It's good for Vissa. Huh?
It is good for her. I'm glad that her mind is not constantly on this, not constantly on this book or on that thing in her bag. But
And your mind, Brecken? Is it?
you know where my mind is.
Well, should you maybe follow Vista's example then?
What would I do? I don't know what I don't. Do I fit here on the crew? On the crew, what do I spend my days idling about, looking in the book more often than I should, I admit. But what else do I do?
Well, I guess the question right now is, what can you do? What honestly, with the book, can you do right now? You have been trying for several years, you said already?
And I can do nothing.
Yeah. So maybe try something else. Maybe
Like what?
make this your vacation. I don't know.
Maybe you
What
could
do I do?
you could be a teacher. I mean, how many sailors know how to read? You could be their scholar. I don't know. Surely they have some use for someone who has significantly more learning than probably most people here.
Or you can be a
You
friend.
know, that's not a bad idea. I could offer that. I've come to know a couple of the sailors and deckhands on friendly terms. I know almost none of them read.
Well, might try that.
Bew, perhaps if I start offering these lessons, you could serve as an aid, being an avid reader yourself.
Oh yeah. It all matters when you decide to do it. You see, my schedule has gotten pretty busy on the ship here.
I'm sure they would free you up if they knew you were doing something very useful for their crew.
Yes.
You see,
Brecken gives you a cheeky smile at Wareth and Murwin, kind of an in joke thing. He's like, he knows.
No. You see, because what I do is so important. It's so important that they could not free me up. So just what I'm doing is going to be, you know.
Before you were here, I'm sure they were just in ruins and had no idea how to manage their ship.
Yeah.
Probably.
Us not being actually members of the crew.
You all do quite a bit of work with Drasana every day. I can't imagine they did anything else before you, and the ship was just a mess.
Yeah. I do a lot with Drasana, and I do a lot of things that you don't see. Kind of behind the scenes, not to brag or anything, but you know, vital things that really keep us afloat. Honestly, yeah.
Very vital.
Warren said I could take over for you, so you can help Brecken.
Well, no. Well, I would have to like.
They're hearty folk, especially Mirwin. She could take on some of the responsibility while I tutor, while you and I tutor these people.
We could go talk to Drasana right now.
They can learn to read and write Alphonic.
Drasana don't necessarily. She doesn't necessarily. She said, "Hey, these are the things," and then like I found other things. So, and I'd have to like train you and what to do and all that. So, it's kind of best if I just continue to do it. And
it is at this moment that you're kind of saved by the bell, because far overhead you hear a cry. And you look up and you see this beautiful, wide wingspan wyvern floating over you, just gliding through the sky. And it's definitely eyeing you.
Is there anybody of the crew near us?
Yeah, you see Rayed kind of near the stairs to the aft castle.
He's gotta be looking at it as
he's looking up at it, and pretty much everybody else is.
I try to make my way over there rather quickly. I want to ask him: Are we in danger? Do we need to be shooting at this thing?
Have you ever seen one of these before?
I've heard stories.
It's a blue crested coastal wyvern is what I'm trying to say. And like here's the situation with him. Look at him there. He's darting his head about, looking at the ship. He wants to eat every one of us. But he's a smart guy or girl, can't tell from here. Clever girl. She's a clever girl. She knows that it's not going to be profitable to attack a ship this big with probably a lot of crew. Smart bastards they are. So he's mostly flying up there as a temptation, just feeling the temptation to come and try and get us, but he knows it's not a good idea. So now he's just
saying those creatures are intelligent. How intelligent?
I mean, they're not as intelligent as you or I, but that thing's able to look at the ship and gauge that this is too difficult of a meal.
That really gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
But it's basically just a show for us now, so enjoy it. Look him up there.
You posted a picture. Oh, he looks cool.
He's a beautiful creature.
Mm.
And that's
as long as he stays up there.
He will for now. Unless you want to go off in that rowboat and see what happens.
Nope.
No thanks.
I'm quite good here.
to see them swoop down. All the way they swoop is beautiful. The wings back, the talons, and they just thunk. They prey right up, rip it in twain, take it back to their refuge and eat it upon their cliffs.
Mm.
Devour, they'll devour man and beast alike. Truly fearsome creatures.
They are indeed fearsome. I think that word quite fits. Yeah.
So your evening ends, and he actually follows above your ship for a couple of hours, just kind of gliding up there, watching you.
I want to. I want to watch him back. I'm going to sit at the back of the boat with my crossbow. I'm just because I don't trust this thing.
Yeah, you sit there and you watch him. You keep on guard vigilantly. Make a perception check.
I don't trust anything that can get the drop on me. I don't like that. I want to be the one getting the drop on him.
I go up to Worth. Are you going to shoot the thing?
Well, if he attacks us, that's a natural one.
Oh boy.
He sees you sitting there with the crossbow trained on him, and he senses your particular aggression, and there's a cry of "Ah!" and he makes a swoop towards the boat and like buzzes you guys almost as if a warning shot. Directly by you, he like whoosh to the side and back off up into the sky.
Worth, you should definitely shoot at that thing.
I'm not going to shoot at it, then he'll come back. I want him to. I only shoot him if he attacks me. That was as close as he's going to get.
He literally just attacked you.
He could have taken my head off if he wanted to. That was him telling me that he knew I was here and ready to shoot him.
You provoked him with your gaze.
Yes, I do that.
A couple more days pass. It dawn on the third day of the month of Red Moon, which has now come to be about, and the wind gets ever colder as winter draws near. On the 3rd of Red Moon,
so October.
Basically, although in this universe, years run beginning in spring and ending. It runs from spring to spring. So at this point, you are definitely north of the Misty Isles in open ocean. Yeah, check the map there. You've passed them by and are in open ocean above them. Heading for that. You see this kind of how the Vedran Sea is circular. It's heading for that nearest isle in the Vedran Sea. The one, it's basically a straight shot north, almost. So that's kind of where Clara wanted to head next.
The big one that looks like a cauliflower?
Not that one. It's the one just to the east of it, southeast.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's where you're headed now. You're in completely open ocean, but on the Thursday the 3rd of Red Moon, you come across an island, and it is fairly significant in size, not big enough to register on the map. And on this island, you see what looks to be an abandoned tower, kind of crumbling, but it looks like it was recently occupied. As you pass by, you get close enough to see a rowboat with a dead body on it.
Who's piloting the ship right now? I look up to see who's at the wheel.
Currently, it's Nikolai has the helm.
I run up to him.
Says,
there's
what is it?
By that tower in that boat, looks like there's a body.
I see it.
Should we investigate? Or is it none of our business?
Do you want to? It looks like some sort of nasty business has gone down. We can stop if you like. It
I
could
think a
be
dead body warrants at least a check.
could
I
be of
come up behind
interest.
Worth. Yeah, I second that. I would like to go to the island as well.
Your wish is my command, apparently. So I will pull the ship into this. So there's a longish pier, and he stops it. He's a very good boat pilot or ship pilot. He deftly maneuvers the larkspur to where you can plank down the gangplank right onto this pier.
Nice. I go to get.
He says, "Do you do what you want, do what you wish, do what you must, but do not take any of the crew with you. This is of
Okay.
your interest only."
Very well.
Yeah, okay.
So I get Mirwin. Was she up there with us?
What you been doing, Mirwin?
Yeah, I'm with them.
All right. Let's go. Let's see what happens.
All right. You exit onto the dock. You can see this rowboat. There's the body. Do you approach?
I take my spear and I poke it.
It doesn't move. It's definitely dead. It's a human. You can see sword and axe wounds, it looks like, on him. Some martial weapons have killed
Marital.
this man.
No, they're Marshall tank. Anyway.
Might have been in a fight with his wife. Yeah.
There's a small hand axe that lies halfway submerged in the water nearby. There's blood smears and stains across the grass, and
How
then
fresh.
nearby, pretty dang, nearby you find several more bodies.
Ooh.
Also with dead by sword wounds. One still has a sword stuck straight through him, and several weapons lay about: a long sword, a double-headed axe, a smaller, shorter sword, and it's definitely there's been a struggle here recently.
I would like to ascertain exactly how long ago it was.
Roll insight or investigation.
Ah,
Sorry,
that's even worse. 4.
4. It's hard to tell.
Into the jail.
You're like, I mean, it happened, but did it
I
happen
want to
today or
look
yesterday?
around. I just want to look to see, is there anyone alive left? Do I see anyone hiding or watching us still?
I roll a perception check.
9.
9. You do not
9.
see anyone. You don't see any of the bodies moving or alive. You don't see anyone watching or anything like that. However, you do see this. You do see signs that another ship or vessel of some sort recently left here.
I guess, shall we go into the tower and see what's in there, see if there's anyone still alive?
Yeah, let's go into the tower.
Yeah, I fear that we're not going to find anything of worth. I feel it's all been stripped.
Probably. But I want to see if there's,
Clues?
yeah, dead bodies, more dead bodies, or someone living, someone tied up. Who
Yeah,
knows?
okay.
The door to the tower is, whatever that shape is.
Egg-shaped.
Arch?
Archie?
Yeah, arch shaped, and it's got a that shape. It's got a like wrought iron handle and hinges. It's not locked.
Is that the only entrance to this place?
It's the only entrance you can see.
Okay, why not?
All right,
Marilyn,
how are
nice
you three
and sturdy.
doing
You
this?
first.
Okay. I have a hammer ready.
Got my
I draw my
rapier.
rapier.
Night. Open the door.
Slowly you
Keep it
draw the door open. Inside on the first level, You see 2 more dead men on the ground with varying degrees of extremely serious wounds all over. Another sword lies in the grasp of one who's slumped against the wall. There's various furnitures in here. There's some crates and barrels and beds. It looks like there's a wash basin, and there's a winding spiral stair up to the 2nd level.
All of these
One left behind.
all of these people that we've seen, have any of them had like a uniform or like a sigil, a marking on them?
Good question. And yes, they have. I roll a knowledge check to see if you recognize them.
Knowledge.
And roll with advantage. I'm not going to tell you why, but roll with advantage.
Would it be, because knowledge isn't would it be history, intelligence, just straight intelligence?
Sometimes I've got trouble. Yeah, roll wisdom. Sometimes I have trouble selecting the right skill. I'm sorry.
20, not natural.
Yeah, these easily you recognize these as the uniforms of East Kaswinik naval officers.
Is it only the?
That's the only uniform you see on all of these men.
All of them? There's not like one dude that's just in ragtag clothes or normal clothes?
Nope. It's all military.
Huh. Okay.
This would not look good.
No,
Somebody attacked a military outpost.
These are Kaswin uniforms. This is not good.
No. Let's go upstairs.
Let's go upstairs, yeah. I think that's wise.
Who's taking point? That be again you? Be again Murwin or Borth?
You want me to keep going?
How are you feeling?
I'll forge on ahead.
Murwin, stout and sturdy as ever, hammer in hand at the ready. You creak up these 2nd floor steps. They're a little creaky, and you arrive into the 2nd floor chamber where there's a window and a desk and one more dead man, again also in the clothing of a Kaswinik military officer.
I want to look in the desk.
Yeah.
First of all, on top of the desk, you see pinned to it with a dagger is a letter.
I read the letter.
You unpin this and read the letter, and then scrawled in a fine hand, it says, "They are highly trained, accents nearly perfect, know all of our customs and moves, but they are only waiting for the moment of strike." Then there is a list of names. Roll a wisdom check.
Natural 1.
You haven't the slightest clue what any of these names mean. But there's a list of them. It says, "Rid yourself of these spies and leave immediately. They likely have found a way to relay your location by now, or at least close." Does anyone else want to take a look at the letter?
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind looking at
I'm
those
there,
names
so I'm
as
gonna
well.
look at it too.
Hey, Beer, you want to look at it? I don't know if you knew it.
Yeah, you might know those names. It's
You've got a letter there, Worth?
Yes, I found a letter here. I don't honestly have no clue what it means, but
incredibly interesting. And then I'll hand it over to Murwin, and then I'll search the dude. I want to search his body for stuff.
All right, Murwin, please roll a wisdom check.
12.
Yeah, that beats the DC. These names, you recognize them as Oslakovian names.
Ooh.
I knew it. The moment there were multiple bodies, I knew it.
What's Oslokovian?
It is an expansionist authoritarian empire
Soviets.
who have violent tendencies. They
Oh, okay,
they're
Oslokovian.
currently at war with Kazwin over a set of islands between their two kingdoms, islands called the Twins, and are in fact, it seems now, engaged with Kazwin or attempting to engage with Kazwin on a more espionage level, infiltrating their ranks even.
That is deep. That is deep, deep, deep
Mhm.
undercover then. Goodness.
Yeah, that was a deep undercover squad. It, like the letter said, these were highly trained. Easily, they could even mimic the Kazwinic accents almost perfectly, because of course the Oslokovian accent is noticeable and often very strong. But they had all of it down, and like some serious special ops stuff. But this all went very poorly. So you check the officer's body. You find an axe. It's pretty nice. It's a bearded axe, and kind of it's got some Kazwinic, like knotwork, like Celtic, Kazwinic knotwork on it, and
Would
heft it and.
would
That did
this
not work.
have like would, if I were to take this, would it look like I took an officer's axe? Is it like specifically an officer's, or is it just like a really nice general axe?
I would say no, it doesn't. It wouldn't be. There's nothing that marks this specifically as an officer's axe. It just looks like a nice axe.
Okay.
Do I find anything else like in the desk? Are there drawers?
There are two drawers in the desk. Inside one, you find a quill, an inkwell, and a few sheets of paper, and the other one is locked.
I want to
Well,
pick
your
the
time
lock.
to shine. I'll be right back in just a second.
You have picks.
I do.
All right. So
course he
attempt
does.
to roll sleight of hand and attempt to pick this lock.
And ooh, nice.
Okay, I'm back. I just found a piece of pie.
He's attempting to pick this lock.
Pick the lock.
I rolled a 7.
7. You kind of fiddle around with it, and like for like 5 minutes until frustratedly you just can't make the tumblers move.
Bew goes over and just tries to rip it open.
Roll a
That
strength
doesn't
check.
work. I'll hit it with my hammer.
17, I think.
That it's
17.
DC. You take it and you go, and the whole drawer comes out, even though it's pretty solidly made. Bang, smacks the wall behind, and clatters to the floor.
There,
And
Orith.
you see
Good job.
7 jacks and 4 crowns in there.
Woohoo! I make for the crowns right away and try to pick them up real quick.
I'm just gonna.
Are you letting him?
I'm very satisfied with just being able to rip it open, so he can have the rewards of it.
You have
Yeah,
those.
go for it.
Yeah, you have 7 jacks and 3 crowns. Additionally, out of there falls a pretty little slender letter opener and another handkerchief. This one's not nice though, and it's got like definitely snot on it.
Gross.
It's not embroidered or anything, but and you don't know why he would keep it in the locked cabinet with the nice things, but hey, that's the way it was.
Maybe he was
Orith,
going to get
do
it
you want the
tested.
letter opener? You want this?
I'm good, thanks.
Mirwin? I honestly don't want it either, but if you don't want it, I think it'll be a nice gift for the crew. I don't know.
Yeah, we can take it with us, see who wants it.
Listen, I think that we have a great opportunity here. Why don't we pick up literally every weapon we see and give them to the crew? I think that they might like that for armaments, yeah?
That might be good.
I suppose. I don't know if they need them or not, but I guess we could try.
Yeah, at
Could
the
always
very
use
least.
more weapons.
Yeah, well, there's going to be some idiot who drops his, short sword over the edge, so replacement for him, yeah?
How, is there a roof access or anything like on this tower, or is it a pointed?
Yeah, it's a ladder and a hatch.
I want to go up there and check it out.
Okay. You head up the ladder, slap open the hatch, and on top it's pretty deserted. There's no bodies, and there's only a couple of small boxes sitting around.
I want to look in them.
Let's look at the boxes.
As soon as you said it, buddy.
In one of the boxes, there's a couple of bundles of herbs.
I take those.
And you could say, yeah, you have some herbs that might be used as medicinal supplies if you have a medicines check high enough to know how to use those. And in the other,
Medic.
and in the other box, it looks like it's some guy's lunch, because there's half a trencher of bread filled with some meat and gravy, but it's like half eaten and kind of spilled out. And there's a bottle of wine half empty.
I sniff the wine. Is it any good?
Roll an insight check.
11.
You're not sure. It smells like wine.
I leave it.
Everyone is prepared to admit that wine doesn't actually have a taste. Yeah, you just leave the wine. It's some guy's lunch. It's probably got his backwash in it.
Yeah, I don't want that crap.
So that's all you
Yu's
find up there.
been picking up weapons and like wiping off the blood on the like sleeves of the corpses, and then like adding them to a pile that he's taking, and like if there's scabbards on the corpses, taking the scabbards as well, and like belts and like
Outside, actually outside, you did see a wheelbarrow.
yeah, just trying to like amass all of their armaments into like some sort of the wheelbarrow, so that we can gift those to the crew.
Do you go and like grab the wheelbarrow?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, so you head back downstairs out the front door, and this wheelbarrow, you kind of you wheel it around and pick up what you see outside, and and then head back in, collect up the stuff on the bottom floor, and then drag the wheelbarrow up to the second floor, heap the rest of the weapons in it, and write this down. In all, you find 4 long swords, 6 arming swords, 2 round shields, 2 war axes, and 1 smallish war hammer.
Yep, I got it all. Okay.
So you get a
All of
good
that
haul.
stuff.
How many
All of that
bodies
stuff.
were there?
That-
How many bodies did we find?
You found
10, that would be 15 if everybody here had one single.
you found 14 bodies.
14.
It doesn't have to match it 100% exactly. I mean, somebody might have been without a
Left
weapon, or
behind.
somebody or left behind, or dual wielding, or there could have been a lot of reasons that it was a little bit
I
disproportionate.
would like
Yeah,
to
this
check
one.
all of them for coins.
You loot every corpse. Every poor Kazwinik corpse. These poor officers who didn't suspect a thing until they were ambushed by spies. And do you have any moral qualms about this?
No, I just looted them also, so no.
So going through the pockets and the bodies of each of these, straight up in gold, you find 32 gold crowns,
Ooh, that's nice, Worth.
Nice.
and you find a couple of nice, like, belt buckles, a few nice pairs of boots, and
Nice.
you're just straight up stripping boots off of dead men.
I don't think I want to take the boots. What are the belt buckles made of?
It looks like they're made of a nice, some maybe silver, a couple of them.
I'll leave those two.
Okay, so you're just taking weapons basically, and the
Yeah,
gold,
and-
and the weapons and gold.
Yeah.
I roll the wheelbarrow up the gangplank onto the ship, and then set
I'm
it
So,
down.
so you've spent several hours doing this, and the crew is idling around, and a few of them gather around, and they're like Elizabeth strolls up and says, "What kind of haul is this? What have you brought us?"
Listen, something went down over there. There's a whole bunch of Kaswin naval soldiers. They were all slain.
See,
All
have
of
you
them.
got any idea what happened to them?
No, there was some sort of letter, but I did not personally read it. But while they were reading the letter, I grabbed all these. I think that the crew could use them. We've got some nice swords, and like, look at this long sword. There's 4 of these, and the war hammer is nice. It's nice, yeah.
Well,
You'll like that?
we certainly could do. You guys have done well. And you see Rayed watching you. And after the crowd disperses, he comes up and talks to you, Bu. And he pats you on the shoulder and says, "This is what I was talking about. Doing stuff like this. Now, fewer and fewer people will call you freeloaders and such.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
provided us with a lot of weapons, and we could use that."
yeah, that's the entire point, I guess, you know. This is literally the least that I could do. I did not kill these men. I did not personally go around doing this and stealing. This is just free and waiting, so absolutely. I'll do whatever I can.
Well, I thank you personally, and I'll make sure that everyone knows that it was you 3 that brought us a great cache of weapons. No doubt will be useful in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Raiden.
I want to go find Nikolai, I guess.
Okay. He's up still near the helm, but now he's leaned back on that mast. And you see him watching the scene down there, watching you guys.
Okay. I'd make my way to him.
You approach Nikolai. He's got his arms folded, and he's smoking a pipe.
Well, I do apologize for the delay, but we found some things that could be useful. First of all, a load of weapons, swords, and shield, long swords. I think there was an axe or 2 and a warhammer. But more importantly, at least to me, I wonder if it appears we found a letter, and it appears that these people could have been attacked by Oslakovians. This could have been an assault. Every single one of those people were Keswinian naval officers. And looks like the officer that was in charge was suspicious of Oslakovians, or at least had received a letter perhaps about Oslakovians being in the area. So
This is bad news.
Did you bring the letter with us?
yes.
Did you have
I would like to see it.
Here, I handed it to him.
He looks it over. He says, "You know, I am Kazwinik. I no longer live there, nor bear true allegiance to them, but Oslakovian is their filth. And what they do to My homeland. Now that I hate to see it, and this is something I will hold on to. And as soon as I have the chance, I will send it off and add what I know. And I will send it to Blackpeak, to the Jarl there. Perhaps we know how to handle it, or to gain some insight into the situation. Thank you, and
You're welcome.
for the weapons as well.
It's the least we can do for the delay.
I don't mind the delay so much now that you have brought us something of such great use. So I must needs thank you and your compatriots for what you've done for us.
You're very welcome. And then I had turned to leave.
And he turns away to the wheel. Him and Graziella converse, and the ship pulls away. Your voyage continues through this open, completely this from here on, almost completely featureless sea. You don't see any islands for many, many miles.
Mm.
And the days pass until you reach Bones Day, the 8th day of Leaf Turn. Or not Leaf Turn, Red Moon. The 8th day of Red Moon. When you reach that island up there, the that one, the last stop before you head to the Isle of Giants.
Right.
So that's last stopville, and there's a tiny little tiny port town there, and Clara comes up to Graziella and says, "We should probably likely be stuck. Perhaps spend one day at the very most, or even just buy a few things. We are running low on." Rayed, what did you say we were running low on? We're running out of bread, running out salt beef, we've gone out to potatoes. Eckerd is having a fit, and we need to buy a few things. So I say we stop probably pretty quickly. We've only got a few more days until we get to the Isle, and it's possible that we have rough seas ahead. I don't know. We've been very fortunate with the weather so far. And Graziella says, I see, pull us into port. Let us get this out as quickly as we can. I would rather not spend a night here. So you all pull into a port, this little port town. And Clara informs you that the place is called Scrimville.
Scrimville.
Krim.
Indeed. Scrimville. And it looks like a scummy little port town, but there are some traders and dealers. Rayed goes off with Graziella to begin to, looks like they're heading toward a warehouse of some sort, and to try and make a deal for some food. Do you guys do anything at this town, or do you want to stop off? What do you do?
Yeah, I want to go into town and I want to look for some of those beetles.
I just want to look around.
Certainly.
Yeah, I'm gonna tag along with Wareth.
Yeah, you two enter town. This town is basically, Scrimville is basically just one sort of main street, and then it branches off at the end, and there are like 4 or 5 houses, and that's like it. There's what their excuse for a marketplace is, which is basically a circle drive with with 2 market stalls at it.
Great. Does it look like either one of them sells, potions or?
There's no signs on either of them, but they're both manned by orcs.
Okay. Well, I guess I just walk up to the first one on the left or whatever.
You see a female orc who looks pleasantly at you and says, "Guten Tag. How may I help you?"
I was looking for, I forget what they're called, but the little beetles that can heal you if you're in physical harm.
I know of what you speak. However, I don't have any at the moment.
Hmm.
You would probably have to go to a bigger village or wait until I restock. I can have it for you in about 2 weeks.
No, that won't do.
And
what do you have, just out of curiosity? What do you have in stock?
she kind of pulls up in the cabinet down there and says, let's see, I have some herbs that can be used for medicine. I have some leeches. I have a couple of jars of honey from Casvin, imported. I have a couple of jars of small worms with the dirt, that kind.
Yes, I do.
I have one bottle of wine that is actually down from Maono. I have here, it's of good quality, which is why I am charging high price for it, even though between you and I, have never tasted it and do not know what it tastes like. And that's actually all that I've got right here and right now.
How much is the honey?
The honey, I charge you 5 silver per pot.
Okay, I will take 2 pots of honey.
That is 1 gold crown then.
Okay.
And
I would also like 2 jars of the small worms, please.
Certainly. That will run you 7. 7 silvers a piece. That's for the 1 crown and 1 crown and 4 jacks.
Okay, and I hand her the money.
Thank you.
You.
I've been around Caswinian honey. Is that a good deal or is that a bad deal? What she charged?
Roll insight.
15?
Price is a little high. She's not gouging you, but she's making a profit.
What was crap? What was the total?
1 gold, 4 silver.
Or two gold, 4 silver.
Was it 2 gold?
Yeah, because 1 for the honey
Yes.
and then 1 for the.
And for the worm,
Correct.
I still have 2 things of worms already.
Okay, then. I'm done, I guess. So maybe I'll go over to the other one, see if
Okay.
they have any beetles.
The other one's a very tall, beefy orc. And he says, "Good day. What can I do you for?
I'm looking for items of healing.
Items of healing. I will go to the shop across the square."
Okay. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Well, whatever.
What do you sell, if you don't mind me asking? Right, okay. Thank you.
I was about to speak.
Sorry.
I sell my own works of fiction, which nobody buys, nobody cares, and most of them can't even read. But it is my passion. However, here he takes out a book. Looks like it might be hand-bound. It's semi. It's like maybe 400 pages. He says, Feel free to not buy it.
How much is it?
1 silver.
Yeah, I'll take your book. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have
thank you.
change for a crown?
I have four jacks in my chest.
Hold on, I'll be right back. And I'm gonna plotter along to the other side and ask the female orc. Do you have change for a crown, by perchance?
Yes, I suppose I can do that.
Thank you so much.
No problem. And she says, no worries, and hands you the change.
Cool. I'm gonna give her a crown, and then just forget 1 jack,
Oh, thanks, Sean.
and then I'll go back over to the dude.
He says, "Oh, you got the rest of the change."
Yeah. And I'll give him a jack. I'll give him 2 jacks.
Oh, double the price. The first 2 I've ever made off of my works. And he rubs the 2 together and says, I suppose today was a pretty good day.
Yeah. Thank you for the book. What is it about? Or is it a surprise?
Well, since you bought it, I'm sure you can read. Let's just say it's a coming of age tale about a young orc who grew up on a backwater island, and he went out and lived his wildest fantasies. And well, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I'm sure you will enjoy. I hope you will enjoy reading it, and that you will actually read it.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be quite good.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Well, you guys good? I'm gonna ask. Or
Good.
Finmir,
Yep.
for good.
Not much else here.
All right.
As you head back through town, you see a wagon kind of pull out of a warehouse, flanked by Graziella and Red. A couple of horses pull it, and it pulls up straight all the way on the gangplank up to the deck of the Larkspur, where
That looks dangerous.
several crew and workers from the warehouse begin to unload crates, barrels, and some casks and stuff. And Red and Graziella are speaking, and Red says, they're gouging us on this, Too expensive. We can barely afford it. Graziella waves it away. We always have everything that we need. Do we not? Have I ever failed you once? No. Have we ever gone hungry once? Well, there was that one time. That doesn't count. We still had plenty. We still had plenty to drink, and you did, and you nearly fell overboard. I saved you, so you can't count it against me. You're right. I've got no reason not to trust you. It's just that it was expensive, but I know we need it. She pat him on the shoulder. Thank you. Now log it all and let's get going. And Graziella turns to you. Did you 3 find anything interesting in this little poop town?
Yeah. I found this book, which I'm sure is very good. I bought it from someone who was desperate to sell it.
Sure it was. What sort of book is it?
I have no idea, and I doubt I'll ever know. I'm going to give it to Vissa, I think.
Well, that would be a very nice surprise for the young girl.
Yeah.
All right, off with you then. It is time for us to make away. I don't want to stop in this little poop town anymore.
Yeah, sounds good.
Very well. I helped them load up the stuff.
I can feel the adventure so close at hand. Could not almost taste it. We head out from here open ocean, straight to the east, to the Isle of Giants. Nothing stands between us and it now.
Here we go.
We shall
This
go.
will be good. I am very excited. Absolutely, I'm excited.
Your vessel speeds on through the ocean, and 2 more days pass.
Oh, I want to go see Vista. I want to go
Oh.
see Vista.
Oh, go ahead and see Vessa.